So you have an existing Google Cardboard project and you want it to work with GearVR as well. This asset can help you out with that. Let me take you through a tutorial of how that works. First of all, if you have a Google Cardboard, you're going to have to upgrade to GoogleVR 0.85, and the reason why is because this asset uses GoogleVR 0.85. There's some instructions on Google's website for how to upgrade to GoogleVR 0.85, but there's some steps that Google leaves out that I think are really important. In order to demonstrate this, what I'll do is I'll just use this project. Previously, we have converted the Unity Shooter 360 game to Google Cardboard, and so I have that project downloaded from the Dropbox, and I'm just going to import it here so that I have a good old cardboard project to work with. Alright, now that that project is imported, I should be able to go to the VR samples scene folder, scenes, and open up Shooter 360, and we should have a working Google Cardboard game. That is the Unity VR samples. Okay, but it's Google Cardboard. I believe it's 06. The video, I made the video in February 2016, so it's probably 06, maybe 07. But it's definitely Google Cardboard. We can tell because of the Cardboard folder and the plugins folder. These two folders make up the Google Cardboard plugin. So when you look at Google's website, they say open up a scene that doesn't use any Google VR functionality and delete the Google VR and the plugins directory. And actually what that means is the Cardboard and the plugins directory. So Google says to delete these two. You need to close Unity before you delete these folders, and the reason why is because you may have the audio spatializer set in Project Settings Audio under the Spatializer plugin for the Cardboard Audio Spatializer, and if that's set, regardless of which scene you're in, you may have files left over that don't get deleted because they're in use unless you close Unity. So there's another extremely important step that we need to do. If you look in Cardboard folder, there's a prefabs with the Cardboard main. Chances are your game uses Cardboard main or one of these prefabs. And if that's the case, it's still a prefab in the scene and it has all these custom scripts that you've added to it in addition to the default Cardboard script. And they have all these values and you don't want to lose any of this stuff. So if I delete the Cardboard folder and it deletes this prefab folder, then this asset that's in the scene goes missing along with all of my data here. And that is going to be awful. So to avoid that, this is very important. You need to go to Game Object, break prefab instance. And that's going to break that object's prefab instance. It no longer resides in this prefabs folder. So if you're using any prefabs which are saved into the Cardboard folder, like Cardboard main, for example, or any of these, and you want to save values on custom scripts or values on the Cardboard script itself, then you need to make sure that you go to select that prefab and say Game Object, break prefab instance. Now that that's done, I'm going to right click on Assets and say Show in Explorer because I need to delete the Cardboard and the plugins folder. First, make sure that Unity's closed. And if you have any errors after deleting these folders, as far as missing audio plugin files, it's because Unity wasn't closed. So now that Unity is closed, I can delete these folders. But before I delete my plugins folder, I'm going to make sure that there's nothing in the plugins folder from other asset store tools or custom libraries that I'm using that I need to save. In this case, I know there's nothing in the plugins folder from a different asset, because I've only imported the Google Cardboard SDK, so it's safe to delete the plugins folder completely and the cardboard folder. I'm going to delete these two. In fact, I'm going to hold down Shift to delete, and they are gone. So we're ready to jump back into Unity and import the asset now. Now, if you weren't using the GoogleVR GearVR asset, then at this point you could go to Google's website under downloads, and you could download the Google VR SDK, which I have right here, and you could import this package, which will be the Google VR and the plugins folder. Because you're using the Google VR and GearVR camera setup asset, that is already included. So Google VR 0.85 is included in this asset, and you can see that by looking right here. You'll see Google VR and the plugins folder. That's Google VR 0.85. Let's get Google VR imported along with our camera setup. Okay, now that's imported, something really cool has happened, and if you look at the cardboard main, it's actually updated to GearVR Viewer. It's no longer called cardboard, it's called GearVR Viewer. And if I look at the head, it's been updated to GearVR Head, and GearVR Audio Listener's been updated. So all the scripts have updated, and I have now Google VR 0.85. When you read the documentation for this asset, you will see the first thing that you need to do is move the Google VR and the plugins folder to the root of assets. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to be ready to test the game out. There we go. Everything's working. Okay, I've upgraded, looks great. And I can go to VR build settings, build GearVR, and I can hit play. And you'll see I'm in the full screen mode where if I hit build and run, it would build the GearVR version, and that would work as well. So I hope this allows you to upgrade your project and make it work for GearVR quickly and easily. Please let me know if you have any troubles. Thanks for watching.